I'm in probably one of the most beautiful camping spots here on my Iceland trip, and I'm going to show you a little bit what my setup is to set up the tent and the Zenbivy sleeping system. The tent's from Lone Rider, and I've used it now for 2 weeks every single night, and it's been a fantastic experience. So I've gotten a bit used to how to set it up. I was struggling a little bit, especially with the tent part and in the beginning, how to set it up right. It's just something you have to get used to and try to figure out your routine. Now I've got a few things nailed down, and that makes it so much easier to set it up and also break down the tent. And the same with the Zenbivy system. It's actually quite easy to set up. I had no struggle with that. It's an air mattress. I use a pump to blow it up, and then setting up the sleep system is done in a few minutes. So I'll show you the process in probably the most beautiful camping spot. One of them, I was in the Highlands before, but that's one of them. And show you what I do when I set up my camp. To set up my tent, I've got a bit of a routine now developed, and what I've done is I combined the ground sheet and the inner tent into a single roll, so I don't have to put the ground sheet on and then put the inner tent on. So all I do is just roll it out and fold it over. It's a bit windy, so we'll see how that goes. But the ground sheet is now under the inner tent. So it's just one less step to deal with. And it's good to use the ground sheet because when it gets wet, it's just an extra layer. And it has always gotten wet every single night. The ground's wet. Unfortunately, I broke one of those plastic supports. So there's one of these that is extra. It's not a big deal. That usually works a bit better. On this side, obviously, because the inner tent and the ground sheet are stacked now, and there's two of these loops. First the inner tent and the ground sheet that hooks into. And yeah, I've found that kind of holding it up like this made it a bit easier to put it together. Then another important thing, these plastic clips. I broke one of these because I rotated this pole in the wrong direction. It just kind of snapped. It still holds it, sort of. We'll see in a second. But also keep that pole on top so it puts less tension on that plastic piece. We're now hooking parts of the tent. I'm just gonna hold it down like this, and I'm just gonna fill it in. So this little plastic piece, it still holds it, but not really. Not when I put the poles together. It's a bit of wind right now. Definitely tell there's a bit of wind pressure on here. But that's it. And then it's the clips. Basically it. There's the inner tent. So on a good day like this, I also started to actually put everything in the tent before I put the fly on top of it. It's just easier to access. Also, there's no bugs, which I like about the Highlands. There's no bugs here. Not like at Mývatn, where you have all the bugs flying around. My Zenbivy Light Bed air mattress, awesome. It took me a couple of nights to get used to that. So sleeping on an air mattress, because I'm not really used to it. But I sleep really well on it now. Okay. So much for leaving the tent open. All these bugs flying around. They don't do anything, but either I didn't see them or they just came here for me. So I've got this little flex tail air pump. Okay, that took a lot more attempts than it should. Usually I do it in the tent, just to show it. So that's it. Okay, let's go inside. Big bug is. The next is my Zenbivy sleeping bag. That thing is awesome. I had 2 weeks now in that sleeping bag, and it's absolutely amazing. This is the warmest one I make. This is the, I think it's called Lightbed, rated to -12, and I had it in sort of sub-zero temperatures with this fleece on actually, and the underwear that I wear for riding, and I wasn't getting cold. I don't know if I'd be comfortable at -12 with it. I don't think so, but I'm glad I picked the warmer one, especially here in Iceland. It's the sheet, and this one is easy to pack and unpack. It's actually quite nice. It's so easy. Right. Last but not least, I've got the X-Ped Mega Pillow. That's pretty cool too. And that's really easily inflated, so I'm just blowing up my mouth. That's it. And this is the bed sheet that goes on top of the air mattress. Couple loops. And then 2 straps that go under the mattress. And that's it to hold in place. And the cool thing is this little hood thing holds the pillow so it never sort of slides away, which is pretty cool. And then because the Zenbivy is not really a sleeping bag, it has the foot end that you can sort of tuck together. You can open the whole thing up. You can open it up and it's just like a duvet cover, blanket or something. But in this case, I'll leave the foot end like this because it is cold. We're in Iceland. And then there's these little hooks and loops, color coded. And then I hook them in here when I go to bed and sleep on both sides, and unhook them when I want to get out. So, and this little cover here makes sure that there's no like cold air coming in. That's the theory, and it actually works in practice quite well. So I've tested it now for 2 weeks in really cold conditions, and it's awesome. It's awesome. Makes such a difference. Final thing that's left to do. Got these little rubber bands. See, I take both of these, the inner tent and the outer tent, and I don't put them back in the original dry sack. I put them like this and put them in one of the motor bags because sometimes they're wet, so there's no point in putting them in the dry bag. And I just put them in there side by side. And all the other stuff that's in the same motor bag, all the camping stuff, the Zenbivy stuff is also in dry bags, so they don't get wet. So that's been my setup. Also, the way I've rolled this up is that the door ends, if I roll it over the tent like this, you'll see the doors will come out to the left and right. And it makes that part a bit easier. So the good thing is, because I rolled it up like that, these are the little loops that have to come in at the top on both sides. And when I roll up the tent fly, I kind of fold in the door parts like this on both sides, and then I roll it up. So I don't have to fiddle around with it like I did on my first few tries. When I set the tent up and had no idea what I was doing. I was fiddling, and this makes it so much easier and quite a bit faster too. So then that's hooked in. Just drop it down. And then there's another key tip which I didn't get when there's like 4 points that connect to the sort of outer tent poles. These things come with adjustment straps. Basically, they were tight, so you have to it's good to loosen them all the way and then tighten them after they're hooked in. It makes it so much easier to connect these. Also something I didn't know. And now they're loose. And I just go around and just hook them in first. And then with the last one I start pulling on the tent fly a little bit and just, you know, giving a bit tension here. Pegs, like in the normal setup, I use 6 of these. There's 2 go on the ends, and then 2 that go where the doors are. And that tends to be enough, unless there's like a lot of wind. Then I use more. So I anchor the corners. It's basically what I did 2 nights ago. It was so windy. Anchor the corners, and I use these 2 on the windy side. But tonight looks good. It's not so windy. So that's all I'm doing. I see 6. So this is my routine, setting the tent up after using for 2 weeks. It's been a great tent. The sleeping bag's awesome. I had no idea I would like that so much. I think it really comes down to the good gear, because I had a buddy I was riding with for a few days here in Iceland, and he was not so well equipped. So his tent wasn't as good as the cheaper version, and the sleeping bag wasn't rated for colder temperatures, so he was freezing a few nights, especially here in the highlands. So it really comes down to having the right gear, I guess, to make this like a good experience or not so good experience. And for me, as a first timer in camping, I think the gear made a difference. So the Lone Rider tent, awesome. Zenbivy stuff, awesome. It's really, really good. So I'm really looking forward to like sleeping in the tent. It's amazing. I didn't think I would like it that much. Okay, just for transparency, these products that I'm showing in this video, they were all provided to me by the manufacturer. So from Lone Rider I got the tent, and from Zenbivy I've got the bed system. So they gave it to me. I would have bought the stuff anyway. They was just the kind to provide it. In my own research, I thought those were the best products, and they were so nice to send it to me. And yeah, I hope this is useful to you guys. If you have questions, comments, put them in the comment section. There's also a direct link to the products. They're affiliate links, so if you click on them and you like the stuff and you buy it, there's a bit of a kickback. Helps out the channel. Don't have to do it, but it'd be nice if you did. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, ride safe, stay awesome.